Excited to get back to work this week. Obviously, we got the Commanders. It'll be a great challenge for our defense, but I'm really excited to have one of my favorite players on our team, and one of my favorite players I've coached in a long time is Sam Franklin is back to work this week, and just love his energy that he brings, and he's been around. Obviously, he's rehabbing and all that stuff, but it's just great to get him back on the field, and so I want to give a lot of love to Mr. Franklin.
Sounds good. With that, we can go ahead and start with questions. Let's go to Mike K to start.
Hey, Jay.
How you doing?
I just want to ask you about Sam. Last year, he got some opportunity on defense. We saw you guys move around the secondary quite a bit. And we know that he is a star on special teams, but what does he bring to the defense specifically?
Yeah, and really not just the defense, but the team. But he's just full of energy. He's full of life. He's a great teammate. He encourages his teammates. He works hard. Just a true professional. And just his energy and his love for the game is so infectious that it's great having him around, especially when he's back on the field.
Losing guys like Shaq and Derek, do you think that could create a boost, though, having that type of energy back on the field?
It certainly creates a boost when you have a guy like that around, and it's great for morale. Obviously, it's great for the teammates, and we're really excited for him too, professionally and personally. He gets a chance to get back out there and show people what he can do.
All right, let's go to Joe Person, followed by Darren Gant.
EJ, does he remind you a little bit of Frankie Louvu, not necessarily with his play, but with that energy you referenced?
Oh yeah, no question. We all know how Frankie is, and energizer, and runs around, and not even like you said on the field. It's like just in the building day to day, and both of those guys are just like they're so consistent about that. Like it's not just like one day they're up, one day they're down. They're just every day they're bringing it, and so that's always fun to have.
Besides that energy with Frankie, what did you lose out or miss out on with Frankie when he left for Washington?
Well, he's a great player. I mean, he's a playmaker. He's very productive. Uh, like you said, the leadership, the energy, and all that other stuff is big time. And he's one of those players that I've always like. You come across him every couple of years that they're just so much joy to be around. Big smile on his face, happy to do what he does, loves his craft, loves his job, and just fun to be around.
Thank you.
Ejiro, when you think about it from a teaching standpoint, how do you guys handle the outside linebacker room when you've got basically a couple of 30-year-olds and then a bunch of really young guys without a lot of experience?
Yeah, it's one of those things that like anybody that walks into the room, Tim is doing a great job with those guys. But you teach them our system first, and there's so much to that position, especially where it's like those guys have such a great sense, especially the veteran guys, about some of the nuances, like maybe it might be a tackle stance or alignment or where he's looking at or things like that. And so, like all the guys have to learn our system, but then something that only comes with experience, especially with playing experience. We could gain a lot from guys like Clowney, obviously, guys like Shaq Lawson, and so it's great to have that mix in the room.
What kind of things in particular do they share with guys like Incum, guys like Winman who are just coming in?
Like one thing, Burns did this kind of last year, and then obviously with Clowney, and I've even heard Shaq Lawson talk about it. When you're around guys with that kind of experience, they talk about things like, okay, this tackle stance, right? All right, he's in a 2-point stance, but he seems to be a little lighter on his stance, which is telling me pass versus he's doing this, when it's run. And so just like little nuances like that, especially when you're first coming into the league as a young guy, you're so focused in on just doing your job. Hey, what's my technique and responsibility? But it's that game within the game that sometimes can give you an edge.
All right, let's go to Alex Zetlow, followed by David Newton.
Hey, EJ. Just a lot has been said about the Commanders quarterback, Jaden Daniels, so far this season. What do you see out of him? What impresses you most about him?
Well, he's certainly playing, not playing like a rookie, I should say. He's a very good thrower. He's very poised. He's got good command of what they're doing. Obviously, his ability to extend plays and run, quarterback-driven run game and all that stuff. So he's a heck of a player. But like the biggest thing when you talk about young guys, especially rookies, playing from the jump, the poise and the understanding of the command of what they're doing offensively, it's what really jumps out off the tape.
Is there an element of he is a rookie and thus you don't have a lot of tape on him? Does that kind of factor into the difficulty of game planning for him?
No, not really. I mean, maybe earlier in the year, but at this point, 6 games in, we got enough inventory, and you look at the preseason and all that stuff. And sometimes when we do some of our our takeaway tapes and things of that nature, or even going back to college to look at some of their stuff, and so. But now we got plenty of inventory. We know exactly what we need to expect on a Sunday, and we're ready for it.
And last one for me, the Caleb Farley, practice squad guy, former first-round pick, obviously battled a bunch of injuries. How is he coming along in his first couple weeks in Carolina?
Oh, he's doing a great job. I've been really impressed by his demeanor and how he's just kind of going about his work. He's not saying a lot. He's just putting his head down, and he's grinding away. He's been asking great questions to me, to Jonathan Cooley, to Burt Watts, to D Hall. And so he's going about it the right way, getting conditioned, getting his body back, working on his craft, learning the defense. And so he's been a pleasure to be with.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, David Newton. While we're on Caleb, what did you see when he was coming out in the draft that impressed you, and are you starting to see some of those things again?
The ball skills, yeah, he had great ball skills. Played receiver earlier in his career, then moved over to corner, obviously. But I kind of remember back in that draft, and when I was at the Rams at the time, and we were trying to determine like who was the best corner in the draft that year between Pat Surtain, obviously JC, and Caleb, and all three of those guys were really, really good prospects, and we had a hard time kind of trying to rank those guys, and so that's the type of talent that this kid has, and obviously things haven't gone his way in terms, especially from an injury standpoint, but it's never too late, and just love the way that he's approaching things right now and giving himself an opportunity.
And back on Jaden Daniels, Bryce, I guess, has been playing the role of Jaden this week. I know you've been asked every week how Bryce is doing there, but what specific? Jaden's such an unusual athlete out there. What specifically have you seen out of Bryce that's giving you the look that Jaden gives?
Yeah, it's the ability to operate from the pocket and get on the move and make things happen, either running the ball or throwing on the move. And so Bryce has been doing a great job, and really since he's been running the scout team, he's been excellent and very intentional on trying to get better himself, and then also trying to help us out and get us a look. And so more than happy with it.
How much do you work with I know that the offense sitting on your side, but how much input do you give like the offense and a person like Bryce that's running the scout team to help give you guys the best look?
It's not so much input. We're just trying to tell them, hey, this is what they do, and please do it for us. It's more of that type of stuff. But like at the same time, though, it's not just quarterback specific. It's just how we want to practice and how you develop players. It's that you want those guys to go out there and play football. Like, we don't want them to be robots. We don't want them to just be reading cards. It's like, okay, we want to try to get this look done, but at the end of the day, go play football. And you get better at football by playing football. And so that's the most important aspect of it.
But the quarterback's got to be key in all that because he's got to give you the look initially. So what specifically has Bryce done well with that?
Just any tidbit that we might have, from week to week, that thing changes. Like sometimes guys are more, hey, scramble to their left or scramble to their right, or they go in this direction, whatever that may be. We try to give those little tidbits. But again, at the end of the day, here's the play, here's the design, here's the first read, here's the second read, go play football.
Who's the hardest quarterback to imitate out there?
You would have to ask the guys that are professionals that do that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, we got time for a few more quick ones. Let's go to Mike K and finish up with Joe.
EJ, I know you went against Cliff Kingsbury pretty early in his NFL play calling career. How has he evolved from maybe his style in Arizona to now being back as an offensive coordinator in Washington?
Yeah, I think he does a great job of really tailoring it to his quarterbacks. And so, obviously he had Kyler while he was in Arizona. But, when Kyler was down for injuries, you could see the plan change, the plays change, what they try to do, the intentionality behind it would change with like guys like Colt McCoy, and others that played for him. And so, and then you see the same thing with now with Mr. Daniels. And I think he's like most great coaches. They do a good job of not just making people do what they do. It's about your players first, and you can see that he's very intentional, and not just with the quarterback. It's with the passing game, with the receivers, the tight ends, what they do in the run game as well. I think he's very intentional about really designing plays and designing concepts and designing an offense that is based around his people.
Thanks.
EJ, with some of the struggles stopping the run, have you given any thought to running more four-man fronts?
We're always evaluating what we do, and whether you're doing well or not, we're always evaluating how we can be better. And so, I don't want to give away too much game plan information, but yes, we're always in constant evaluation, and we know that we haven't been good enough in that area. Got to coach better, got to play better, and we'll try to do that.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you all.